Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the Manga Club, the club where we talk about mangas that we've been recently watching. Hello and welcome back to the first episode. Hello and welcome back to the first ever episode of the Manga Club, the club where we talk about mangas that we've been recently reading and enjoying. Let me know what you've been recently reading and enjoying, and if you've seen what I'm about to. Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the Manga Club, the club where we talk about mangas that we've been recently. Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the Manga Club, the club where we talk about mangas that we've been recently reading and enjoying. Let me know what you've been reading. Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the Manga Club, the club where we talk about mangas that we've been recently. Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the Manga Club, the club where we talk about mangas that we've been recently reading and enjoying. Let me know what you've been recently reading and enjoying, and if you've read what I'm about to talk about, let me know what you thought about it. That'll do. I wasn't going to do a manga club, but one of you suggested it. You know who you are, and yeah, I thought, why not? I'm very new to manga, so if my knowledge isn't all there or anything like that, you're essentially seeing someone experience mangas for what is the first time. I'm just delving into it, and I'm just getting into manga, so you bear with me. Berserk Volume 1. This is one of the first mangas I've read, and I'm blown away by it. I've never really watched an anime or been into any sort of dark fiction like this, but oh my god, I think I might have to, because Berserk has absolutely sold me on it. The storyline that this first volume tells is brilliant. It's dark, twisted, gory. It's fantastic, and it also opened my eyes to the story. Reading through the first couple chapters, I was a bit confused. I was like, we're jumping straight into Guts just going around killing people, and what is going on? Only to then find in the final chapter that we go to the Golden Age, which is essentially like the beginning of the story. So the first couple chapters are like a sneak preview into what Guts turns into, essentially, which I thought was a very interesting way of doing it. It's got me hooked on the character, and now I want to know what happens. I want to know how he gets to this point, how he comes to be Guts, the Black Swordsman. I mean, firstly, starting with Guts's birth, like, how can a character have such a horrific beginning? I mean, it kind of makes sense how he turns out to be with a start to life like that. Oh my god. But even going back to the first couple chapters, I was instantly just hooked from the first 10-20 pages. Seeing Guts roll into a bar and shooting his crossbow multiple times into people, the art style captured me, the goriness of it captured me, and I was instantly hooked, and I can't wait to read more of Berserk. The art style and some of the panels in Berserk is just brilliant. The way that the fight scenes are portrayed, the way that all the characters are uniquely different and weird. It's just, I love all of the art in this manga, and some of the panels inside just absolutely captured me. If you're into sort of dark fantasy, Lord of the Rings, but a little bit with a twist, Elden Ring style Dark Souls, I felt like I was reading Dark Souls. That's what I felt. I felt like I was reading a manga version of a Dark Souls game, which I've been told by someone, apparently they were sort of based on Berserk, which makes complete sense. I've already got volume 2 and I can't wait to read more, so yeah, Berserk is definitely a recommendation from me if you're into dark fantasy. The next thing I've been reading is Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Now, I absolutely adore Jujutsu Kaisen. I was always going to read it after Shibuya, and now I'm finally getting to, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant seeing what I've watched be on page and just seeing the story being told in a different format. If you love Jujutsu Kaisen, you will love the manga. That is a no-brainer. But the way that it's told in the manga form it's almost quicker than the anime. I mean, I know Jujutsu Kaisen 0 is a film. It was going to be a little bit more drawn out, but how they managed to fit all the context that I'd already watched in the film into just these pages was just brilliant, and I loved reading every single moment of it. Getting to relive Yuta coming into be. I love Yuta and I love Rika. I love his story. I think he's one of the top Jujutsu Kaisen characters for me, and I can't wait to see what happens to him in season 3, or even the manga now if I catch up by that time. The art in this is very different to anything that I've seen before. It's quite simple, but it's also very effective. And even though it is somewhat simplified down, some of the panels are just gorgeous. The art in this I just absolutely loved. It makes me sad reading stuff like this and seeing panels where everyone's happy. You've got Maki, Panda, Inumaki, just all of them together, and they're all happy and smiling, and Gojo's there, and I'm just like, I've just finished watching Shibuya, and now you're putting me through this again. But nevertheless, if you like Jujutsu Kaisen, I would highly, highly recommend reading it as well, because this was brilliant. After the first episode of Solo Leveling, I had to pick up the manga. It's not strictly a manga, it's called a different name, but for the sake of simplicity, I will just call it a manga. This is very different. Because it's not strictly a manga, it's in full colour. You read it from left to right. The fight scenes in this take up 2-3 pages just for one movement. It's a very different and interesting read. This is quite thick, and yet it only covers sort of the first 3 episodes. However, I absolutely loved my experience reading Solo Leveling. This honestly probably got me hooked more than the first 2 episodes of the anime did. I can't wait to see where this storyline's going. It's such an interesting concept. It's video games in real life. If you like the concepts of Sword Art Online, if you like the concepts of being able to like level yourself up and complete tasks and essentially have a real life video game in front of you, but it affects your real body, you will love this. And like I say, it's in full colour. It's some of these, like, panels are just brilliant. The gore is there, the colours are just... It's honestly actually, like, kind of sad that some of the mangas aren't in colour, because some of these look like they're just screenshots of an anime, and I think a manga could do some brilliant stuff if it was in colour. Obviously, I know it's not, and I'm fine with that, but this has just opened my eyes to a brand new story and a brand new way of it being told. I mean, it just looks good. Don't get me wrong, there are some panels where it looks a little bit sort of not pixelated, but it looks like it's just been stretched. I don't know if it was made for like online viewing, and now that it's been printed, it might have like lost a bit of its quality. I don't know. That might just be me being picky, but like I said, this story's got me hooked. If you like video games and you think the concept of a video game in real life is good, then this is absolutely for you, and the art style is fantastic. I began the Chainsaw Man series with volumes 1, 2, and 3, and honestly, I prefer reading it to actually watching Chainsaw Man. So instantly off the bat, if you liked watching it, the manga is 10 times better. I can't understand why though. I have no issues with the anime at all. I think it's a brilliant anime. The animation is obviously incredible. The voice actors are great. Everything's great, but it just comes across better on page. I don't know if that's just me or what, but I would highly recommend, if you enjoyed the anime, picking up the manga, because honestly, I enjoyed it so much more. Chainsaw Man it's a stupid but brilliant and interesting concept. The thought of a man being a chainsaw and going around and killing demon devils, it's just, it's a stupid concept. But I love it. I love the characters that are involved. I think the characters come across way better in here than they do on the anime. I found myself more intrigued by the characters. I was more drawn in, and yet they both cover the same stuff. Denji, just such a brilliant, interesting character. It's almost a comedy, and yet it's not at the same time because of the gore and action, and who knows, maybe it takes a dark twist later on, but at the minute it seems very happy-go-lucky, and that might be me being naive and thinking Jujutsu Kaisen was sort of like that. But nevertheless, I still highly recommend, if you like the anime, or even if you've not seen the anime, read it first. That's what I've done. I read it and then went and watched it, and the manga's better. But anyway, that is all from me and the Manga Club. If you've read anything that I've read, let me know in the comments what you thought about it, and if you've got any suggestions for me to read, then I'm more open to everything. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you've been reading, and I'll see you next time on the Manga Club.